The concept of witchcraft has changed into the religion of Wicca. Wicca is a religion, whereas witchcraft was a practice. Witchcraft involves the practices of sorcery, enchantments, and interactions with spirits. Witches use different forms of supernatural or magical powers. Witches' powers include the ability to influence another person's mind, body, or property against his or her will. Some were thought to practice necromancy, which is conjuring spirits for the help or use in rituals. Contrary to popular belief, they do not worship the devil. Wicca is a nature-based religion that teaches a very peaceful way of life which promotes harmony with the divine and with nature. The origin of both witchcraft and Wicca are unalike. During the Renaissance period, women who used herbs to cure diseases were known as healers, but eventually, people began to view their medical practices as witchcraft and blame the healers for events that they couldn't understand. At its root was the Christian belief that the power of all magic came from the devil. Since magic arose from the devil, it was therefore a form of religious blasphemy. Many witch trials took place during the burning times, where witches would be tortured or executed. By the end of the Renaissance times, most of the European witch trials were over. Wicca was discovered around the 1950s. The Wiccan religion was founded mostly by Gerald Gardner with the help of Aleister Crowley. Gardner took a bunch of Crowley's writings and stole them while adding a few words and changing a few words. From this, he introduced the first coven and created the initiation rituals. Thus, the Wiccan religion was exposed to the rest of the world. Although many of the early Wiccan rituals are similar to Crowley's work, Crowley rejected Wicca due to its involvement with women. Gardner's book, Witchcraft Today, introduced the world to Wicca and began the process that led it to becoming a now spiritual religion. Witches and Wiccans are viewed differently by society. Witches were viewed as evil and discriminated against because they were believed to be the reason the people of the Renaissance times were suffering. The majority of accused witches were also women. In total, 9 million women were killed for practicing witchcraft. The idea of a witch slowly morphed into a joke more so than an actual threat. Children want to dress up on Halloween as witches, rather than being a vulnerable human being who was wrongly accused of crimes. Witches are also featured in plays and movies such as Macbeth, The Wizard of Oz, and Snow White. Wiccans are more accepted by society than witches were. Most people accept Wicca as they would any other religion and don't treat Wiccans any differently because of their religious practices. Some people are judgmental and consider Wicca a cult instead of a religion. They imagine strange spells and rituals and a religion more along the lines of Satanism and the practice of witchcraft than what Wicca really is, which is a peaceful, nature-based religion. Modern Wiccaphobia may come from misconceptions about Wicca's connection to witchcraft. Today, most Wiccans are granted religious freedom, but some people are still wary.
Have you ever read a boring book? Well, no longer!
Introducing your very own Grimoire! It suits all of your witchy needs while providing the information you need for all of your rituals and materials. Nope! Because every witch has their very own, and sometimes it's written in code so that the only witch that can read it is the one who wrote it.
But I'm not a witch, I'm a Wiccan and I want a book too.
Well, that's alright. Because for 9 easy payments of $19.99, you can have your very own Book of Shadows. You can also share this book with your friends, family, and all the other members of your coven.
It's all good in the Wiccan hood.
But wait, there's more. If you call right now, you can even get a bowl for $4.99. All the herbs that you need, only for 2 easy payments of $12.43. And some pineapple scented candles. We'll even throw in, I know you're thinking it, your very own athamine for free. Just call 1-800-TOOLS-FOR-YOU. That's 1-800-TOOLS-FOR-YOU. Both witches and Wiccans use symbols to help them in rituals, show their devotion, or keep them safe.
Hello, I'm a witch. And I'm a Wiccan. We are looking for some symbols to tattoo on ourselves. What would you recommend?
Well, we've got all these different symbols for you to choose from. Which is one you might be considering?
I was thinking maybe this one.
No! That represents Satanism. And you're not a Satanist. Are you?
No.
Good choice. What's another one you were considering?
How about that one?
That's a wonderful idea. That spiral? That's the symbol of the goddess. But I think since you're a witch, I would recommend this one.
What's that one?
That's the Wheel of the Year. That represents all 8 Sabbats. But you're a Wiccan, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
And there are a few different symbols you might want to have.
I like that one.
That's a wonderful idea. That's a Triskele. That represents the power of life and rebirth. Another one I might recommend is this unicursal hexagram. That's the balance between man and the divine. I know how important that is to most Wiccans.
Very, very important. I also like that one.
Ooh, the 7-pointed star. One of my favorites. That right there is sometimes labeled earth, air, fire, water, above, below, and within.
Interesting.
The more you know.
I also like that one.
Ooh, the Ankh. That is the symbol of everlasting life.
You want to know what symbol I want? I want the moons. But I want the moons. I want the moons. No, I want
It's okay.
the moons.
You both can use the triple moon. That's the symbol that represents the mother, maiden, and crone. And also, either of you can use our lovely pentagram. That's the symbol of protection.
You know what? Now that I've thought about it, I don't really want a tattoo. Neither do I. Witch and Wiccan clothing has some similarity. Women accused of being witches just wore traditional Renaissance dress, which was a long skirt and or dress with a corset. There is no traditional Wiccan dress code. Some Wiccans wear Gothic-styled clothing along the lines of what witches in the Renaissance time period wore. Some Wiccans wear cloaks. Clothing styles for Wiccans can almost be considered goth. Many Wiccans also just dress like the average everyday person in jeans, t-shirts, etc. Witches and Wiccans view their deities in contrasting ways. Witches generally call on the help of local or land spirits and animal spirits. They view deities and spirits of the land as having egos and human characteristics, but are not superior to the witch herself. Witches honor the gods in the sense that they are aspects of nature. They call on the spirits in rituals to aid them in their work. For a Wiccan, a deity is believed to be superior to the average human. Gods and goddesses are viewed as having higher spiritual powers. Wiccans believe their deities need to be worshipped through ritual and devotion. Witches and Wiccans have religious or sacred holidays. Witches are thought to have meetings at night called sabbats that mocked Catholic beliefs. Wiccans celebrate holidays centered around the cycles of the moon and the seasons. Esbats are feasts that are held on the 13 new moons of every year. Wiccans also have festivals called sabbats on the days of the winter, autumn, spring, and summer solstices. Celebrations involve different rituals involving feasts, candles, and specially colored flowers depending on the holiday. Although some people believe witchcraft and Wicca are the same thing,
They are very different in almost every aspect.